the 7-meter titan emerged from the mist, its left tusk chipped in a pattern Kenta had memorized from his worst nightmares.
That's it. The one that killed Sora.
For an instant, the forest vanished. He was 16 again, watching his older brother disappear under a titan's hand.
This time, I am not letting it die. I have to know the truth behind that day.
Kenta, break off and kill it now. That's a direct order.
Instead, Kenta dove low. Capture cables hissed from his gear, lashing around the titan's ankles. Before it could react, he swung onto its shoulders, forcing chains across its gaping mouth. The titan crashed to its knees, chained and bewildered. For the first time in history, one of them was taken alive.
You've lost your mind. I'll have your commission for this madness.
He dragged it forward, his hand steadying the muzzle. A yellow tag dangled from the chains, captured alive. For 6 grueling hours, Kenta dragged the bound titan across roots and ravines, his ODM gear empty of gas, his muscles screaming.
Drop the cables and step away, Kenta. You are under arrest for insubordination.
Arrest me after, but if you kill this titan now, you kill the first real chance we've had to understand them.
Isao's escort leveled their blades, but ahead, the great gate loomed. Guards on the parapet aimed cannons downward.
It doesn't attack. Even now, it just stares. What are you?
You expect me to believe that creature isn't a threat? It killed dozens on expeditions.
Then ask yourself why it hasn't killed me while I chained it up. It could have snapped me in half. 20 times over.
A tense silence. The gate commander raised a hand, then signaled the winch crew. Slowly, the bound titan was lifted off the ground. Kenta watched, hands bound behind him as the massive chains creaked under the weight. The titan's confused eye met his for a moment.
I demand a hearing before the Scout Council. If I am wrong, execute me then.
Kenta was shoved into the council chamber, its high table already lined with grim-faced commanders. Commander Isao stood to deliver his report.
This soldier not only defied a direct kill order, he endangered his entire squad. I move for immediate court-martial.
Permission to speak. That titan is unique. It didn't attack me. We've never been this close to a live one. We can't waste this chance.
A chance for what? To prove your insubordination can be rewarded. You broke every protocol.
If we study it, we might learn how titans form, why they appear, how to stop them. You'd kill that possibility for discipline.
Murmurs spread among the council. Then a thin scientist near the end of the table rose unasked. Dr. Heiji, head of the Royal Science Division.
If the creature is truly non-aggressive while bound, it presents an unprecedented research opportunity. I request custody for scientific examination.
Before Isao could object, an aide handed the chairman a sealed decree, the stamp of a palace noble. The room went silent, with royal backing now undeniable. The vote swung narrowly in Kenta's favor. The Titan would be moved to a high-security vault for study.
I got my chance, but someone powerful just made it happen. Who, and what do they expect in return?
In the cold vault, the Titan hung against reinforced stone, chains taut. Scientists circled with instruments, and Kenta stood rigid behind the safety line.
Begin tissue samples and measure its response to direct stimuli. We must know if this passivity holds.
He hasn't even tried to pull against the chains. It's like he's waiting for something.
For an hour, they probed and prodded. Tissue samples showed abnormal resilience, but the creature barely flinched.
Its pain response is shockingly low, almost as if the nervous system wasn't designed to feel outward damage.
Then a young researcher, adjusting a lamp, cried out. Her trembling finger pointed to the back of the Titan's neck.
Surgical marks? Here, look. Precise incisions, partially healed. These weren't made by a claw.
Doctor, are you saying someone operated on a Titan? That can't be possible.
Not after it was a Titan. These scars are from a human-sized body. This creature was made, not born.
Kenta's mind reeled. The Titan he'd chained, the one that had killed Sora, wasn't just a monster. Someone had built it.
Look at the stitch pattern. This was done on a living human, then the body was transformed into a titan.
The discovery sent a chill through the vault. Then the iron doors slammed open, and the cold voice of Captain Hayato cut through.
By authority of the military high command, this study is terminated. The Titan is now under my jurisdiction.
You can't bury this. We've just discovered evidence that Titans are created artificially. This changes everything.
Changes nothing. You are a disgraced scout who committed treason. One more word and you'll be charged with sedition.
Hayato drew his blade an inch from the scabbard, a silent promise. Guards seized Kenta's arms and pulled him back.
Dr. Eiji, if you value your position, you'll forget what you saw. The Titan will be relocated for containment.
The bound Titan, still chained and silent, was hauled out of the vault. Kenta could only watch as the door sealed shut behind it. Kenta was shackled in a corner. 2 guards posted at every exit. Hayato's voice echoed down the corridor, ordering total information lockdown.
They're covering something worse than a Titan, and I just handed them the perfect excuse to silence me.
The vault corridor suddenly flooded with new torchlight. A squad of royal guards marched in, then parted as Princess Honoka stepped forward, expression calm but unyielding.
Your Highness, this is a restricted military zone. I must insist you leave immediately.
I carry the seal of the throne, Captain. This investigation is now under my direct authority. The Titan stays and the study resumes.
The scouts will remember this interference.
Hayato's hand left his sword with visible reluctance. The guards unshackled Kenta, and Honoka motioned him toward a side chamber.
You knew about the scars before we even found them, didn't you?
I suspected. For months I've been tracking a project buried so deep that even mentioning it is treason.
She opened a small locket on her neck, briefly revealing a portrait of a young man.
My brother. He was taken by the same project.
Then we're after the same truth. What do you need from me?
That night, Honoka led him through a servant's tunnel to a hidden room behind the library.
I've collected these for a year. Every dissident who disappeared, every accidental death, it all converges here.
She laid out decrees, dates, and diagrams of Titan serum. The scale of it sickened Kenta.
This isn't rumor. This is documented murder on a massive scale.
They inject it into a human, and within hours the body mutates into a Titan. My brother was a journalist investigating labor abuses.
And then they set them loose? Outside the walls, to be killed by scouts who never knew they were human.
Honoka nodded, her composure cracking. She pointed to a name at the bottom of the list, her brother.
I'll never get him back, but I can stop them from taking anyone else.
Kenta stared at the list, his mind racing. Somewhere here was the identity of the Titan he'd captured.
I brought it here for revenge. But what if the monster I chained was a victim too?
His finger traced down the list of names until it stopped, trembling, on a single entry. Sora Agawa, converted. 3 years ago.
Sora. No, that's not possible. He died. I saw it happen.
Kenta? What's wrong? Did someone you know appear on that list?
Memory flooded back, Sora standing on a crate, rallying workers to demand fair wages, his voice full of hope, a younger memory. Sora chasing him through a field, laughing, both of them covered in grass.
The chipped tusk. It wasn't a defect. It was from the transformation. The day they turned him into a Titan.
His legs gave out. He crumpled to the stone floor, the paper crushed in his fist, a raw sound escaping his throat.
He died twice. Once as a man, when they injected him, and once as the monster I swore to kill.
Kenta, breathe. Tell me what you saw.
The Titan. It's Sora. I captured my own brother.
Before Honoka could react, the door splintered inward. Hayato's soldiers flooded the room, blades drawn.
Take the princess alive. Every document burns.
Kenta lunged for the documents, a soldier's blade whistling past his ear. He caught the table's edge, using it as a shield.
Kenta, go. Get them out.
Through the broken shutter, he threw himself, landing hard on cobblestones. 2 pages slipped into a puddle. He grabbed them and ran.
They took Hanoka. I won't let her sacrifice be wasted.
Find him. He knows too much. If he reaches the public, we're all finished.
A blow landed upstairs, followed by a scream that cut off too quickly. Kenta staggered against the wall, bile in his throat.
Hold on, Hanoka. I'll bring the full truth down on their heads.
He fled into the capital's dark veins, the proof of genocide pressed beneath his coat. Tomorrow, he'd either rescue a princess or die trying. By dawn, Kenta used the royal servant tunnel Hanoka had shown him, emerging into the detention block's lower level. 2 guards stood at the stairwell. He took them silently, 1 chokehold, 1 blow to the temple, and took their keys.
Cell 14. She's got to be here.
Through the barred door, Hanoka slumped against the wall, a fresh bruise on her temple. Her eyes snapped open.
You came back. I knew you would.
They fled through the sewers, the stale air ripped by alarms above. Hayato had discovered the escape.
The documents. I lost 3 pages in the water. If the ink runs, they're useless.
I made a complete copy before the raid. A trusted archivist in the lower district holds the only duplicate.
They climbed from a grate into a dark alley. The morning patrol was less than an hour away.
We retrieve the full set, then find a press. This horror ends today, or we die making it public.
The archivist's shop was little more than a cellar stacked with ledgers. He handed Hanoka a wax-sealed box without a word.
Thank you. We'll read through it here. There's no time to find another location.
Do it quickly. Hayato will be searching every building.
Kenta flipped through the copied pages, then froze. A memo dated yesterday bore the director's personal seal.
A public demonstration to dissect a live Titan in the Capitol Square, scheduled for noon tomorrow.
He means to use the captured Titan, your brother, as a spectacle. The people will see a monster, not a man.
If this happens, the truth dies. Sora will be butchered before thousands, and the project will justify it as science. We can't just publish documents. Hayato controls the narrative. We need the director to confess on record.
You want to confront him in his own compound. That's a suicide mission.
Maybe. But if I make him talk, on audio or paper, then print the confession alongside the evidence, no spin can bury it.
Hanoka spread a blank royal decree on the table and, with a steady hand, reproduced the Grand Seal from memory.
This will get you past the outer gate. After that, you are on your own.
They parted outside the compound. Hanoka went to ready the press, while Kenta faced the iron doors alone. 2 guards blocked the entrance. Kenta held out the forged order, his hand steady despite the adrenaline. The larger guard squinted at the seal, then stepped aside, muttering about unexpected inspections.
How long before they verify? If they check with command, I am dead. Move.
He ducked into a side passage as a patrol clanked by, then slipped through an unguarded archive door. At last, he reached an oak door at the end of the executive wing. Voices drifted through, the director and a subordinate. The director's voice was light, almost amused, so we used a journalist from the labor riots. The irony is exquisite.
That's him, the man who turned my brother into a monster.
Kenta pressed a small audio recorder against the door crack, its needle scratching as the director's voice continued inside.
The Agawa case was particularly satisfying. A labor organizer who thought he could rally the masses. We injected the serum in his cell and released him outside Wall Rose 3 years ago.
He's describing Sora like a lab result. Every word is another knife.
The irony, his own Titan form killed a scout squad the same day, including, I believe, his own younger brother. The propaganda writes itself.
The recorder's cylinder spun on. Kenta's free hand locked onto the door handle, every knuckle white. With a roar, Kenta drove his shoulder into the oak. The door flew inward, slamming against the wall.
Ah, The scout who captured a Titan alive. I wondered when you'd arrive. Did you come to thank me for such a perfect specimen?
I came to hear you say it again, on the record, that you turned Sora Agawa into a Titan and set him loose to die.
Why would I incriminate myself? Unless you've already abandoned any hope of leaving this building.
This recorder has been live since I arrived. Every word you just said is being transcribed by the Princess's press. You are already finished.
Finished. You are naive. A recording alone means nothing. The capital trusts the uniform, not a disgraced scout. But since you are so curious, we identified dissidents, sedated them, performed a small spinal incision, and injected a purified Titan serum. The body mutates within hours, memories erased, perfect weapons. We released them beyond the walls for scouts to kill, never knowing they were human.
He slid a small photograph across the desk. A man mid-transformation, features distorted but unmistakably Sora, chipped tusk already visible.
That's him. The chipped tusk, just like the Titan I captured. Everything fits.
You see, your brother was a perfect test subject, and tomorrow, his Titan will be dissected in the square. The public will cheer science, never knowing the truth.
You've confirmed everything. The serum, the conversions, the public murder planned. Keep talking.
And the best part? No one will believe a traitor like you. This recording will become a footnote if it survives at all.
The recorder's needle carved the final inch of wire. Kenta's thumb hovered over the stop button. The confession was complete.
Now I just have to survive long enough to make the world hear it.
A shrill whistle cut through the tension. Honoka. Kenta's head snapped toward the window, then back to the director.
Guards, to me, he's recording. Kill him.
The doors burst inward. 3 armed soldiers poured in, blades swinging. Kenta threw the table onto its side. A glass sphere arced through the broken window, a flash pellet. The room exploded in blinding white. Kenta vaulted the sill, Honoka gripping his arm as they dropped into the courtyard below.
Seal every gate. I want that recording destroyed.
Honoka pulled him into a narrow servant's passage, her breath ragged. She barred the door behind them.
Still running. Recorders intact.
They burst onto a pre-dawn lane, the sound of boots closing from 3 directions. Honoka hammered on a shop door. Ink-stained hands yanked them inside, the press already churning.
The transcript is set. Every damning word. The serum, the conversions, the public dissection.
They're already searching the block. We need to get these out now.
The press cylinder slammed down, ink spraying. Bundles of papers were thrown out the back window into waiting hands.
Take them. Read what your leaders have hidden.
The first paper landed in a baker's basket. By dawn, 100 hands held the headline, "Monarchy Creates Titans." Confession inside. Gasps turned to shouts. A woman read aloud in horror, and the crowd's anger shook the cobblestones. More and more citizens flooded the streets, their voices rising like a tide. They turned us into monsters.
It's working. The director's voice is being heard by everyone who once believed the lies.
Hayato's squad just stormed the shop, but it's too late. The capital is awake.
Good. Let them hear Sora's story. Let them hear what they did to my brother, and every other name on that list.
Hayato's squad pushed through the crowd, but the streets were a wall of furious citizens holding printed proof.
Clear the square. If you won't disperse, we'll use force.
A soldier lowered his blade. Others followed. We won't attack our own people, Captain. Honoka stepped onto a cart, a royal decree in her hand. By order of the crown, the Titan project is illegal. Captain Hayato, you are under arrest. Royal guards bound Hayato's wrists as he shouted protests. The director was dragged from his compound in irons moments later.
It's over, but not for Sora. Not yet.
The vault is being opened. The Titan inside, your brother, will be treated as a victim, not a monster.
Kenta's eyes burned. He turned toward the vault, where his brother still waited in chains.
I need to be there. I owe him that much.
He pushed through the now parting crowd. The weight of 3 years of grief and fury finally pointed toward an ending. Alone in the vault, Kenta faced the chained Titan. The torchlight flickered, as if the room itself held its breath.
3 years of nightmares. And it was you, all along.
He stepped forward and rested his hand on the bound muzzle, right where the yellow tag still hung, now a cruel irony.
I am sorry, Sora. I didn't know. I dragged you here thinking you were the enemy.
A single tear slid from the creature's distorted eye, trailing down the chipped tusk, the first sign of something human inside.
I'll make sure everyone knows the truth. You'll be buried as the man you were, not the monster they made.
He drew back a step and gave a solemn nod to the waiting medical officer.
Do it now. Let him find peace.
A syringe found the scarred nape. The Titan didn't resist. Its body slowly sank. Eyes closing at last, Kenta turned away, his face wet. Soldiers moved in to cut the chains and prepare the first Titan soldier's burial. Soldiers wrapped the Titan's body in a massive canvas shroud, then lifted it onto a reinforced cart. The chains were gone.
I'll walk with him, every step.
Then I'll walk with you.
The massive cart creaked forward, Kenta's boots falling in rhythm behind it. Honoka kept stride at his side. They passed through streets that had been a riot an hour ago. Now the crowd stood silent, heads bowed. No one shouted. A few hands pressed to hearts. The cart moved through them like a funeral barge parting a sea of shared guilt. Beyond the outer gate, a fresh grave had been dug on a green hill. Soldiers formed rigid ranks around it.
This is where you'll rest, Sora. Not in a forest forgotten, but here, remembered.
Onoka placed a hand on his shoulder. The cart halted, and the silence grew heavier than the shroud. A commander raised his sword. The soldiers presented arms. The first Titan soldier was home.
Sora wasn't just my brother. He believed that every worker deserved dignity, and he stood on crates in the cold to say it. That passion, that voice, they saw it as a threat. So they took him, and they turned him into this.
From his coat, he drew a small metal badge, Sora's old labor organizer pin, tarnished but intact. He held it to the crowd.
This was his real identity. Not a Titan, a man who fought for others.
The commander gave the order. Rifles rose as one, and the hills echoed with the crack of a soldier's salute. The shroud was lowered. Kenta's shoulders finally shook, the wall inside him crumbling.
It's all right now, Kenta. He's at peace.
He never got to see the change he started. I'll carry it for him.
The crowd began to drift away, their silence a shared wound. Only Kenta and Honoka remained by the fresh earth. The rain began to fall, soft and steady. Kenta didn't move, one hand still resting on the wooden marker.
You taught me to fight for what's right, Sora. I forgot that for a while. I couldn't save you, but I'll make sure the next labor organizer doesn't end up in chains.
He laid a loose blue flower on the turned earth, the color of the sky Sora had loved. Kenta stood, his hand lingering on the marker for a final moment. The rain eased, and the first orange light of sunset broke through the heavy clouds.
I'll carry your voice, Sora. Every step I take from now on.
He walked into the dying light, the grave behind him, the city of roaring truth ahead. A simple wooden marker now stood on that hill, the first of its kind. He didn't look back, not even once, as the path opened before him. The weight was still there, pressing on his shoulders, but now it had a direction, forward. In the months that followed, Princess Honoka pushed new laws through the council. Protections for citizens, oversight on science. A memorial was raised for every name on the project's list, a wall of stone etched with the disappeared. Kenta returned to the Scouts, but with a new mandate. He led a unit trained to capture, not kill, Titans for study. Each captured creature was examined for surgical scars, a silent plea for the person within. Some, in stillness, even showed glimmers of the humans they had been. Onoka and Kenta stood together often, watching the change they had forced into existence. The director and Hayato faced trial, their recorded confessions echoing in the same square they had planned to defile. And on a clear morning, Kenta climbed Wall Rose alone, looking out at the world beyond.
We'll never forget them, and we'll never stop fighting for the ones still out there.
Behind him, the capital was rebuilding. Ahead, the horizon held the first real hope in a century.